Hey guys, and welcome back to the DME podcast. Sorry for the long wait. It's been roughly a month and a half, I want to say, since my last one. My last one was the Limp Bizkit concert. I did record the Yumi at 6 Wembley show that happened on the 4th of April, but as soon as I recorded it, it was like a day or two after the show, and I just wasn't feeling well. I started to feel gripey whilst recording it, and to be honest, I might just re-record it, depending on how it sounds whilst trying to edit it, because it's currently an hour and a half long, but it's a two-parter really, because I talk about the Birmingham show that happened on the same week that I went to on the Monday, and then obviously I was like, well, I may as well put the two together and talk about them both, to be honest, because the Birmingham show was literally the same as the Leicester show. The only thing different was I obviously saw the guys in person at the Leicester show, and the supports were different. That is it. But I'll see how that is in editing. And I just totally forgot about it, because I was like, yeah, I don't know why I forgot about it. But we are here to talk about 21 Pilots. This is the first time that I've seen them, and it was an alright show, I think, because I've seen a load of concerts so far. It was an average show. To be honest, I think the lighting show was great. I think the lights, the visuals and stuff were fantastic. The stage, not decoration, the set of the stage was awesome. And I like how they because it was a 2-hour show, and they're not long songs either, so you've got like a 25 plus song set list. I actually have the full set list here, but yeah, I like how they split it all up into sections. But yeah, we'll get to 21 Pilots in a second. Let's talk about their support. Now, the support where I actually fancied them. I actually liked them. I really enjoyed them. Supports can be a hit or miss, but yeah, these guys were really, really great. Originally, I've read about them. They're originally a 2-piece, like 21 Pilots are, but obviously when they do the live stuff, they're in a 4-piece, I think it is. And they're from New Zealand. So I was like, oh, when I saw their name, I was like, well, it's Bula Brigada. I think that's how you pronounce it. I was like, oh, these guys are going to be a foreign band. They're going to be like a Mexican or Chilean rock band or something. No, they're a New Zealand pop band. They're like 21 Pilots in a way, but less rocky. They're more on the indie side of 21 Pilots are, I'd say. And as soon as they finished, I was going through, they sound like a band and they sound like this band. And I was like, oh, halfway through their set, I was like, these guys sound like the DMAs. And well, I think that the DMAs are from Australia, so I was in the rough kind of ballpark, because it must be their type of genre, indie rock or whatever, indie pop. So I was like, yeah, these guys sound like the DMAs, like musically, not vocally. And then their final song, and I was like, yo, this reminds me of a British band who are awesome. And it clicked. And then, because I went on my own for this one, I met a few nice people, got a few Instagrams of people. It was great. I enjoyed my time with the people around me, and I think that's what made it better, in my opinion. We'll get to a little bit more of that, but then I said to the people around me, they sound like Two Door Cinema Club. And the one guy who I befriended, he said, yes, that's a great comparison. And I was like, yes. And yeah, so that was the support. I've just basically cut all of the other crap that we talk about when we go to, the main stuff when you go to a gig. It was at the EP4 Live Arena in the NEC at Birmingham. In my opinion, it's my favourite arena out of all the arenas in the UK. Closely followed by, I'd have to say, Co-op Live. I've only been to 2 gigs at the Co-op Live, so it's a bit. Is it 3? No, 2. Slipknot and the Cortinas gig. Yeah, so yeah, that's my second best. I think it's because it's a little bit further out the way for me. It's an extra 20 minutes, half hour on the road for me to get to. I love the AO Arena in Manchester as well, but the Co-op is actually overtaking that. I think the AO, because where it's located, I think is a great arena, and I think I think we've just got lucky with that arena. I think me and my mate we've just got lucky the amount of times that I've been, especially for the Birmingham Horizon gig last year. Did I do a podcast for that? I don't think I did an episode for that. No, I didn't. Wow, yeah, we queued up. I think it was just after 3:30. It was 4 p.m. I think we were an hour before doors opened, and it was freezing cold, but there was 100 plus people, maybe 1,000 people ahead of us. But not only that, we were as soon as we went in, it was like, oh, choose a door. And then we just got lucky. We got really lucky. We went in when I got front center barrier, which was mad. I think I high-fived Ollie when he came down the steps, because I was literally bang on where he would come down, which was amazing. So yeah, and he gave me an eye or two, which was probably one of the best nights ever. And I think that's why I highly recommend the AO Arena. It's the same with Nickelback. I got quite lucky because there was a lot of people with VIPs, like early entry stuff, and I was literally like 2 feet from, maybe a foot from the barrier or something like that. Like 2 people from the barrier, and they were all VIPs. And then I looked behind me, there was like a couple of people with VIP like lanyards, and I'm like, okay, so they must have just stayed in the upper concourses before coming down, but you go straight in. But anyway, we're not here to talk about those gigs. I might actually talk about those gigs on another episode, about 24's concert list. I was going to do that, but then I just totally forgot about it, I think. Anyway, oh yeah, that was going to be my final episode, wasn't it? But the Sam Fender one took away from that, and so I just continued on with the first episode for Slipknot. Anyway, before Christmas, I'm just looking at it here, and I thought I put Series 1, Episode 1 for the Slipknot. Never mind. No, I didn't. I'm looking at the wrong one. So I woke up a little bit late for the 21 Pilots gig. I was hoping to get there for like 1 o'clock ish, something like that. I got there for, I think, 2:30, I want to say. Let's actually have a look, because I've got sort of timestamps actually of. So I messaged my mate maybe about 5-10 minutes after I got on the queue. Yes, so I was in the queue at 2:20. Beautiful day. I mean, if it was raining, I think there would have been no queue, which would have been a whole lot better, because I don't mind that. I don't mind being in the rain, but it was a really lovely day. UV was at 5, so I was standing there and I was like, oh crap, I'm like dead in the sun. We probably won't be moving for another hour or two. I'm going to get burnt. I'm going to get sunburnt. But no, I think we were there for probably about 20 minutes, half hour. And I think we moved up, thank God. Yeah, it was just over half hour. We moved up. And when we got to the shade, I was like, oh, thank God. But then after like 10 minutes, we were like, it's a bit cold. So I parked up. It was after 2 p.m. So I was like, yeah, I'm okay. It's just after 2, so I'm making great time. Parked on Resorts World, as you do. I think that's the whole reason why it's such a great venue, because you got that place. A place to go for a meal beforehand. And yeah, obviously parking's 18 quid for 12 hours, which I don't think is that bad. So I think that's great. But then if you go into the shops and you spend X amount of money, I think it's like 20-25 quid, you get the parking for like a £5 or something like that. So, I mean, yeah, if you just go into the gig, it's not, I mean, if you're with, well, like if I was with my mum, we'd be going to Nando's or something. Or yeah, so we would pay for a meal and then we'd get our ticket thing. So, but obviously I was on my own. My mate's ticket, I thought it had sold, but they send you an email with your ticket has been listed successfully. And I thought it's been sold. No, that was just the confirmation email to say it had been listed. And I thought I obviously read that wrong. So I was like, oh, it's sold. But no, that was great. It was a bit weird because when I got my ticket scanned, I was like, oh, the 2 of you. And I was like, oh no, it should just be 1 ticket. It should just be just me. And I was like, oh, it probably still recognises I've got 2 tickets still on my account, even though the other ticket's not available, because I obviously listed it up for sale originally, as I was thinking, oh, it's up for sale. But then I was standing in the queue when we got into the arena. I was looking at my email, like I checked my email to say, and it said your ticket had not been sold, like an hour or 2 before we got into the arena. I was like, oh crap. Lessons learned. Next time, read the email properly. Read it properly. So otherwise, I would have, because I think I put the ticket on sale maybe like Friday. So, and there were tickets available for resale. So people would have probably purchased those, and they were probably cheaper. So if I'd have known that it hadn't sold, I thought it had, I would have probably put it down to like 40 quid or something. Yeah. Because I put it down for like 60 quid, and I think the ticket was like 84. So I walked out the door of the Resorts World. And I was walking down, I was like, oh, there's a few people walking around, but there's not, obviously, you see the door, like, oh, there's people standing outside. And then as soon as I like got a view of the whole like bit, I was like, oh my God, that's a queue. And this is about 2:15. And I was like, bloody hell, I wanted to be close to the front. I wanted to be not barrier, but close to the front, so I get a decent view. So I'm not behind, like I'm not like close to the mixer. To be honest, we were probably halfway there. I'd say I was on the red circle for the circle bit. So, but I got to the queue. I was like, oh my God, that's a lot of people. And I was like, I mean, there's probably about 400, probably not that, probably about 200 people here, I want to say, already in the queue. And there was people like sitting on the grass verges and stuff not in the queue yet, and I was like, they might be numbered, but I don't know. I don't see like ink on their hand or anything like that. So obviously the security guards, because the queue was pretty huge, so there were people queuing up for the merch stand. One of the security guards said, if you want to get merch early, there's a one down on like on the other side of the arena, closer to the NEC, the bottom end of the arena. And I looked behind me, I was like, yeah, I'm not getting in that queue. I'm literally staying put in this queue because I'm on my own. I would have gone into it if my mate came with me, but I was like, yeah, I'm not bothering. I'll get merch inside or after the show. And I got merch after the show. It was nice tea. I don't have it with me. It's the black one with the tour dates on. And yeah, black's always the go-to in it. Black with the tour dates. Yeah, you don't get anything different, do you? It's the best. Which I'm surprised they actually had extra large still available in the black with the tour dates. I was thinking, should I get the white one? But then I was like, best not to get the white, because I know what I'm like with a white shirt. But anyway, and then I asked one of the security guards, and he was like, I was like, I bet you haven't, with all this, like, I bet you haven't had a chance to number everyone, have you? And we're like, yeah, we did that a few hours earlier, like this morning at 500 people. And we were like, hey? Well, I was like, hey? Yeah, mate. And then I don't know how many lot are here. I was like, great, I'm going to be at the back. And as it turns out, the 21 Pilot fan base is a bit of, yeah, they're quite something. They're like a toxic fan base. Some of them were really nice, but then some of them are like really like feral, which is, yeah, never would I use a word like that before. But yeah, actually, no. Queens of the Stone Age, their fan base is quite feral. Yes. I remember that. That was horrible. That was horrible. Entitled people, yeah, that's what I get the vibe from. I get a vibe of like untitled teens, entitled. So we got down. I ordered. I was like, right. I was gonna hopefully get numbered because it was like 2:00. Normally they number people about 3:00. I was like, I'll wait to get a number. But then I was like, well, looks like I'm not getting a Nando's then, because I would have got numbered and then I would have gone into the Resorts World and got a Nando's. But I was like, seeing as I'm not numbered, I'm just gonna stay put. And I'm glad I did. My strategies were decent. I didn't do anything unnecessary. So I was like, yeah, I'll just get a Subway from Just Eat. And then they moved everyone down closer to the door. And I was like, yeah, this isn't bad. Is this the 500? But no, they had 500 people to the left of the door. And those 500 people, they went obviously down onto the right hand side of the forum. When you go into the BP Pulse Live, doors open on time and everything was down. Like, timings were perfect and everything. Like, the support band came on bang on time. 21 Pilots came on maybe a little bit after 1:15, but they were well enough on time, I'd say. So yeah, it was good. We weren't waiting long. It felt like a day and age because I was just getting no reception. Couldn't even get onto the Wi-Fi of the place, and it wasn't showing up on the Wi-Fi page of my phone. So I was like, oh great. So I couldn't. For some reason, when you're in those tunnels, no signal gets picked up whatsoever. And it was, yeah. So I just kept looking at my phone every 2 minutes like, I can't go on anything. Mate, the internet goes down for more than 5 minutes, mate, we are screwed. We are screwed as humans. Can't live without technology. Anyway, I certainly can't sometimes. Especially when I'm trying to like get some information and stuff about things. It's just like, ugh. Anyway, so we got into the arena because they open that like an hour or half hour before the arena bowl opens. So you can go get your merch, you go get your drinks. But you obviously, if you're standing, you want to miss all that. And well, if you're numbered, you don't need to worry. You can go get toilet, drink, food, get some merch. And yeah, but obviously we were like, yeah, okay. Met some guys outside I was talking to. We were playing Uno, which is great outside. I didn't stay with those guys. I just stayed with these two people, CJ and I think her name was Trish, and really nice people. I loved it. I loved their vibe. And yeah, I got on with them really, really well. And I stayed with them throughout the whole show. Got to know them actually, which is great. And I got their Instagrams, which is great because normally when I go to a show and I'm mingling with people, I'm like, oh, okay, where have... sometimes I might lose them throughout the show, but no, we stayed together, which is great. And obviously, when we got into the arena, the bowl itself for standing, we were like, oh yeah, let's aim for the circle because they're gonna open that up for the pit for obviously the final song or whatever. I could have touched. I didn't feel the drum kit, unfortunately, which is a bit annoying, but hey ho. But I got quite close to Tyler, and while I was closer to Tyler than I was to Josh, I could have touched Josh with a barge pole. I don't know if I could have touched Josh, sorry, with a barge pole. For the final song, it was a bit of a mess, bit of a sweaty box. Hopefully I'm feeling okay tomorrow. But so we got into the circle, met two other people, these lads that were from Watford. I think they were from... one of them was a gooner, a fellow gooner. And we were just chatting about gigs we were going to, blah blah blah. So I stayed with Trish and CJ. As I said, I got their Instagrams. We decided to stay put together. Well, I was walking off from them, but I was like, no, I want to stay with them. And then CJ was like, oh, we want to go into the left side and it was a great idea. It was great. So normally if I'm mingling at the concert on my own, I don't get people's Instagrams or anything like that, which is a bit of a bummer. I remember it was the Cortinas one. I think I said, I met this son and father duo, and we were chatting for days, and we just got on, and we had the same vibes. And I think I think I found like friends for life with those guys. And I can't even remember their names from the show, but then the father was like, oh yeah, if you follow on it on blah blah blah. I was like, and I was struggling to type it out, but then I just forgot it because I was like, oh, we'll see. I'll see you soon, hopefully. And it just, yeah, unfortunately, I just couldn't find their names. I'm part of a Facebook group, the Cortinas fan page, so hopefully I might try and stalk it. I think try and stalk it. But anyway, I'm glad I did this time round with the two people. I think I met friends for life, which was great at the 21 Pilots gig as well. Yeah, if you ever go to a gig alone, I've got quite bad social anxiety, but I just come into my own when I'm around a gig with other people. I think it's mainly due to the fact that these lot are like me, socially awkward, but I've just got that little bit more confidence, I'd say, to start, earwigging on other people's conversations about things and go, oh yeah, I went to that. Yeah, it was great. It was fantastic, blah, blah, blah. Then you start like, having the conversations back and forth because you got something in common. If you go into one of these gigs, you've got something in common straight away because you like the band. Or I'm not a massive fan of 21 Pilots, so I'm not fussed about seeing them again. But CJ had the right idea by going on the left because you've got 500 people going on the right hand side, on the right tunnel, on the right hand side. And then so we went on to the left and we're like, yeah, let's not bother with merch, let's go straight. And there was probably about, I'm going to say like 50 people ahead of us in the tunnel. We're like, that's actually smart, CJ, Actually, at that time, I didn't know his name, didn't know their names until we got into the arena. because we were queuing up together when we got in the arena. We were like, oh, I don't think we don't know names, and we're like, yeah. So I was like, oh, my name's Dan, and obviously we're like CJ and Trish. I was like, yeah, cool. So we queued up, got into the arena. Where shall we go? We're like, let's see the damage, and it wasn't that bad. So, and then we were like, shall we go dead center? Yeah, let's go in the circle because they open it up for the end song. So yeah, we stood there, and then these two guys ahead of us, we were just chatting to them as well. We made them part of our conversation, which was absolutely fantastic. It's a shame I didn't get those two guys' Instagrams or whatever, because I got such a vibe for them. We were talking about who's your favorite artist and bands, but then for some reason before the support came on, we were for like 10 minutes. We were like, yeah, have you seen Transformers? And for some weird reason, Trish hadn't seen it, and we were like, hey, because I think we were on about like Linkin Park and like the soundtracks, because obviously Linkin Park have done the first three. They did 3 songs for the first 3 Transformers ones. I think and the guy, because it was the second one he was on about, was like the innuendos and stuff. I'm just gonna babble on with this bit, because there's no structure to this conversation whatsoever. He said, we are deep beneath the enemy scrotum. Like, the robots and stuff. I lost it. I was just creasing. I was absolutely creasing and for some reason we had an obsession with Transformers for the rest of the gig. And the one guy was, the Gooner, I think we grabbed someone's attention. That was maybe a foot or two. And he was like adamant Transformers 2007 was the greatest film on earth. It was hilarious. I just don't have any words for it. It was hilarious. You had to be there to be a part of the conversation. I had the best quib ever when the support finished. I said, oh, yeah, because obviously we were like shouting about Transformers before the support came on. We were like, I reckon we should just take a survey of people. Have you seen the first Transformers 2007 film? And then at the end of it, when the lights came back up, and I looked at the guys and was like, anyone else seen Transformers 2007? I looked around me, and everyone, and the guys started creasing. I was just like, yes, perfect timing. And then, yeah, the rest is history. I can't remember. I think we stopped talking, because I think there was someone. This is when it started to write with people. There was like 4 or 5 people who just decided to push their way in. It might have been right on when the support came on, and they literally pushed in. It was maybe about 2 foot to my right, and they split this this girl's friend with her, and obviously she asked, could you guys move? You've just like split me and my friend up, could you guys move back? And they just laughed it off, and just like, honestly. And this one girl who was with them was off her face, you could tell. And then they weren't a massive trouble through the show, until obviously when we were trying to open up the pit to do the final song, because obviously they were like, Josh was like, I want to see the borders of the circle. So everyone take like steps back, blah 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 blah, and then yeah. But this one guy, this tall guy that was just a little bit ahead of the guys who pushed in, obviously was trying to move back, but they weren't moving back at all. So obviously there was a bit started. Yeah, you could feel like they're gonna might have a scrap here. The one dude just was trying to like push the one guy ahead, and then the guy in front just went, get off me, man, like shrugged him off and pushed him off, and he was like giggling, like, you're like, it was like doing the Wollstone Rider type of vibe, you want some, I'll give it you. And then this would have peed me off as well. He just had to like touch the guy's hair, like put his hand on the back of his head and like rub it and like go, oh, like that. That would pee me off. And obviously I saw that happen, and I was like, okay, the guy's going to swing for him. Don't blame him, you're not going to move back, move back. Everyone's been told to move back. I just split them up. Well, I tried to anyway. I split them up a little bit, and then for some reason it just got progressively worse. And the guy behind who didn't want to move, who pushed in, swung for him, and I was like, "Hey, mate, no! You want to get pushed? You want to get moved out? Get back!" And then obviously, because initially I didn't know how the pits work for the 21 Pilots show. Obviously the security guard was coming in to obviously get everyone to move back. And we were like, security, get him out. He's just tried to hit him, you know. And then but unfortunately, the security mate just didn't give a flying toss. Which I was like, I would have happily moved him out. You know what I mean? It's a safe environment. Don't be acting like an arsehole, because people have paid good money and you've pushed in, you know. You had the audacity to push in, and now you have the audacity to start arguments with people. Just don't. And even his mate tried to get in on it to try and obviously fight the other dude. But I was like, honestly, it's stupid. Because I think the guy who pushed in, when he swung for him, the guy, I can't remember if he connected or not, but at the same time, it was like, I think he tried to hit him on the back. He hit him on the back of the head, if I remember. And yeah, because I remember I split them up. And then obviously he swung for him. And then I was like, yeah, okay, split. And then obviously the guys just hit him on the back of the head. Security, he has just whacked him on the back of the head. Get him out. And they were just not bothered. They were really not bothered. But then it looked like they were bothered because he was messing about when everyone was like in the pit. So for the final song, they do Trees. But I thought they were in the circle, and they just have the circle. And they were like, everyone, don't rush. And then everyone just rushes into the center so you can be closer to whoever. It was pandemonium. But luckily they only did that for the last song, which was great. So... yeah, these two girls are onto my right and to the front of me. I think one of the names was Kira. I think I didn't catch the name of the other girl. So when 21 Pilots came on, girl and her mate, originally I thought they were a couple. This is a different people now. The two women. So the two ladies in front, they became friends with these two people behind me. This girl. They're both 22. I thought they were originally a couple. This girl and this guy. But the guy was a friend, and he had not a clue. His eyes were wide as anything, and yeah, he was like 9 pints in already, and she was sober. He's my lift home, he is, or whatever, or not lift home, but like we're getting a train together. He went to go get a drink when 21 Pilots came on, and she was screaming the lyrics for the first 2-3 songs. I was like, Jesus, you know, that if you've seen that TikTok of it's the Sabrina Carpenter one, it's like that, I'm working, like when that person's screaming the lyrics, it's like, and I'm a singer, you know, singing those lyrics. It was like that, but like right in my ear hole. Her mate came back, he had another pint in his hand, so I was like, that's like, well, he's had 9 pints and then like a shot of whiskey and whatever. And I was like, oh, great, you know. And I felt sorry for her really, because obviously she's got to have a good time and he's just not with it as a mate. You know what I mean? She, like, her stomach started to hurt her a bit and she started to cry. And I was like, obviously the heat was getting in the arena. It wasn't unbearable. It was actually very bearable. Obviously with it being the first few songs, but literally I could see like her, like she just went a pale white. I said to these two ladies, you know, because we were like trying to make sure she was okay, I said to this one girl, this girl, I think she's gonna drop, she's gonna faint. And she like stumbled backwards a bit, and I was like, yeah, she's gonna like fall. So I grabbed her and I pulled her slightly closer to us, and I was like, are you gonna faint? And as soon as I did that, she almost went. You could tell by her like facial expressions and stuff, you could just tell when someone's about to faint. And because I've been to a load of gigs now, you can just tell when people aren't feeling great, and you can tell when they're gonna go down. And I think obviously because she screamed her lungs off for those first 3 songs, obviously she just took it out of herself probably a little bit too much by screaming the lyrics, and obviously she just started to go. and I said, you know, she's gonna have to go out in the like in the concourses for like 5 minutes. She can come back, but she didn't, unfortunately. Her mate had literally not a clue what happened. So I was like to the girl. Well, I think one of the girls who wasn't fussed about seeing the band. She was like, I'll take her out and get her water or something, because what she had to drink was a Pepsi. So, which obviously not the greatest, but still it's a drink nonetheless. Originally I was saying take small sips of it, take small sips of it, but you could tell she was just ready to. I think she nearly dropped twice. I think, but I literally had her by like in my grip so she wouldn't fall. So the kind woman took her out, not the Kira girl. Well, her name that nearly fainted was Sophia, I think Sophia or Sophia. And her mate didn't catch his name. Not gonna lie, I would not want to be friends with him. And I was like, mate, you're gonna have to go with her. She was about to faint. She's gonna need help. Okay, hopefully, because in an hour and a half you can sober up pretty decently, I'd say. And so, because the woman with Kira was gone for quite a while. She was gone for a good hour, and because she finally came back, but obviously we were like, is she okay, you know? And she's like, yeah, she's all good now, you know, he's sobered up a little bit, and yeah. So yeah, what an eventful night. Stopping a fight, well, almost stopping a fight, I'd say. Well, it could have been a whole lot worse. Like they could have, because I don't see anyone. I think I think the guys who pushed in, his mate was trying to help him not like scrap, but then got into it a little bit, because yeah, and obviously, but I split them up, which is cracking. I love doing that type of thing, but yeah, the girl who fainted, I helped her out, which is great. Chester Bennington had great words back in the day. If someone falls, what do? You pick them up. Yeah, you pick them up. Let's talk about the 21 Pilots show. We've talked about the support first thing, but so 21 Pilots, these tickets were on sale for a very long time. I think they were on sale since like last April. So they've been on sale for a very, very long time. I think they put every ticket on sale at the same time, because the Clancy World Tour, which is the tour supporting the new album, came out 2024. The tour started on the 15th of August in Denver, Colorado, USA. And then obviously, I didn't realise, but the tour is finishing. And the tour is finishing on the 14th of May, because I don't see any other dates after that. They're doing, well, Belfast was tonight. It's tonight, not tomorrow night. So they took a night off to get over to Northern Ireland. Then they head to Dublin, to 3 Arena on the 9th. Take a day off, head to Manchester AO Arena, and then head down to London a day later to do the 13th and the 14th of May and finish up. So yeah, that's the tour. If you don't know who are 21 Pilots, they're a indie alternative rock band, rap, electronic rock pop or whatever, from Columbus, Ohio. Been a band for 16, 17 years. Just a two-piece with Joshua Dunn on drums and Tyler Joseph on bass, piano, vocals. What else has he done? What else? Well, ukulele, I think he did. Acoustic guitar. I said bass guitar, didn't I? I don't remember him with a regular guitar. Can't remember. It's just the two of them on stage, because you've got Tyler and Nick were the first guys, with Chris on drums, because it was originally a three-piece, I'm guessing. Tyler on lead vocals and whatever, and Nick was on bass, and then Chris was on drums. So I'm guessing Tyler was originally on normal guitar, and then obviously the other bits and bobs like piano, synthesizers, and whatever. So yeah, and obviously them two left the band just before Vessels was a thing, and then Josh. It's just been them two since 2011. So yeah, and they've never looked back. They've had a few, obviously, bit of touring members now and again. So let's have a look at names. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Tyler Joseph, lead vocals, keyboards, piano, synthesizers, samples, and guitar. Josh is obviously drums, percussion. He plays the trumpet. Forgot about that. When he does a bit of keyboards as well. Yeah, because you do a lot of like, when he's drumming, he does like a DJ deck or something. that plays tunes. Former touring members, roughly a few people. It was around the time of Scaled and Ice. Yeah, they had a lot of other people with them from 2021 onwards. For 2 years, they had obviously they had a couple of people on backing vocals, someone on trumpets and keyboards and whatever, someone on guitar, so probably an extra guitarist. There's another guy who did like keyboards, backing vocals. Same, there was two of those guys, but that other one guy did guitar, and then one guy played bass. So the bass guy was Skylar Acord. He's in the band Issues, the metalcore band from Atlanta. Todd Gunnerman, who was on like keyboards, guitars, and backing vocals. Mute Math, never heard of the guy, never heard of the band, sorry. Paul Mearney, who's on like stage production and whatever, he's just a musical director and a record producer. There's nothing on the guitarist, Dan, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Jesse Blum, who was on trumpets and keyboards. Still Wives, an American indie pop band, never heard of them. Kenya Dixon, who was one of the guys on backing vocals, he's an R&B Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, musician, and producer. And then Danielle Withers, who was on backing vocals, so I presume, obviously. I'm trying to, think of their performances that they've done, and I can't see anyone. Anyway, so yeah, obviously you're going to have some extra guys doing programming and stuff and backing vocals and whatever, because they always sound like there's multiple guys on stage, and it's not just one guy playing the drums. But then obviously there's no backing track, but there is like a pre-programmed like instrumental piece maybe. So anyway, so yeah, the 21 Pilots, Blurry Face became their big album, which got them a Grammy, which I don't know what Grammys did they get. And they've slowly become a headline act for festivals and whatnot. They've done Reading and Leeds twice, I think now, like headlined it. First time, 2019. List. Oh, they even have a page of their awards and nominations. Blurry Face won album. Oh no, that's the Alternative Press. Where are we? That's Billboard. Where is Grammys? There we go. Grammy Awards. It won in 2017. Stressed Out won the best pop duo group performance. Stressed Out. Didn't Blurry Face won best album? Oh no, it got nominated for Record of the Year. Stressed Out did. Only in 2015. Surely it was 2016. Never mind, eh? When they came on stage with just their suit tops and no bottom half, which kind of cemented themselves as band to watch, didn't it? Oh yeah. So Bolo Brigada were good. I will recommend. I like it. They also reminded me of Foals as well, because they have like the Two Door Cinema Club songwriting element, but also they have like long instrumental bridges and whatever, which remind me of Foals. So the Birmingham show, let's have a look at the set list. It was a 27-song set list. Damn. So started off with Overcompensate, banger. Kicked off with Holding On To You, which is one of my favourite tunes ever. Then I can't pronounce this song name. Vignette. Yeah, I can't pronounce it, man. I can't pronounce it. Car Radio, where Tyler did a disappearing act, it kind of threw me. I was like, how the hell did he get there so quick? Obviously, they must have had a decoy on stage, and then yeah, because Tyler ended up in the seating area on my left-hand side, which was cracking. If you were sitting in that area, you got a great view of his arse, or like if you're in front of him. Amazing. They did a lot of like coming off the stage, which I thought was cracking. Going on, because they had two stages when we went in and when we got to like, oh yeah, this is a great spot, and we looked around and then we saw like two stages, like really small ones. So obviously I was like, they must stand on like each of them, one each, because one had a guitar. I don't know if it had a piano in it originally, but I think it might have done. I couldn't see it, to be honest. properly. One of them had the drum kit on. It might not have done. I can't remember, to be honest. But obviously, they were obviously already surrounded by people, obviously, to get a quick glimpse of Tyler and Josh. So yeah, so if you're facing the stage, behind me was the mixer. To the right of the mixer was Tyler's podium stage. And then on the left-hand side of the mixer was Josh's, which you don't know which one was going to be. Obviously, you just knew Josh was going to go on the one to the left of mixer because he's on the left-hand side of the stage all the time. Excuse me. They might have swapped it round. I don't bloody know. Anyway, so the judge, then they did Jenna's version of The Craving, Tearing My Heart, Backslide, Shy Away, Heathens, which they kept mixing. So they kept like mixing each song in between. And it was like, okay, sick. They jumped into the next song, which I thought was a bit meh. They played my favourite off Clancy, Next Semester. Routines in the Night, Walk to the B stage. So they did like, Josh was already on his podium, and then Tyler was walking under where the seats like kind of pull out and push out because he was getting to his stage, which I thought was kind of fun. And then obviously they were on the B stage. They did like a slow song with The Line and Mulberry Street. The crowd participation with the lights was awesome. He said, right, I'm going to speak these words. This side's going to put their lights up, and when you hear this word, that side will turn their lights to this, and vice versa, and then the floor, blah blah blah. And it was like a Mexican wave of lights. It was great. It was fun. I don't know if they've got like a video of it, which was fun. But there was a lot of lights, a lot of people. Then they came back to the main stage to do Navigating, Nico and the Niners, Heavy Dirty Soul, My Blood, and then Doubt, which obviously got a massive thing on TikTok, didn't it, or something like that. They played the demo version. The demo version got like, everyone loved it, didn't they, when they found out the demo version was awesome. So they just released it as a single like last month. So, and then Guns for Hands, love this tune, love it. Reading, 2016, think it was then. Everything went out. The power cut. Well, the lights went out. They didn't have anything. I think it was that song. They played in the dark, so no lights were on. Everything was working apart from all the lights, which I thought was absolutely amazing. But yeah, which was cracking. Anyway, Lavish, and then Ride. Oh yeah. So this was a B stage type of thing. This was. I can't remember if they were both on their little podiums. But Tyler was on his podium and for Ride, and he brought out a fan to do like the final chorus. His name was Jonas, and he was so cute, bless him. And yeah, it was great. And there was a bit where the camera was still following the young lad after the song finished, and it looked like his brother went to cuddle him, and everyone went. Oh, it was cracking. It was hilarious. Beautiful moment. And obviously, Paladin Straight. Obviously, I think I dropped it by accident. I thought I saved it into my phone case, but they were handing out little like things. So you put on your torch and you shine them. Will be their visual aid for Paladin Straight. Well, when the song Paladin Straight was coming on, so it was like, oh, it's that song. So yeah, that was the song. They came on for an encore to do Jumpsuit, which is one of the awesomest songs ever. In my opinion, it's one of their best songs, Jumpsuit. Boom, but yeah. Midwest Indigo, love that tune. I kind of disliked it when I first heard it, and then I just, yeah, it kind of grew on me. That the albums grew on me, to be honest, Clancy. The Overcompensate, and Next Semester, loved them. And then Midwest Indigo, and then Lavish, they grew on me. Then they did Stressed Out, obviously. Then Trees, which was like when they opened up the pit, and then obviously what I talked about, and then it was great. Awesome little, like, I like how they kind of get their fans involved by having them hold a platform or for the drum kit, for Josh's little drum kit, which I think is cracking, and that light thing, which was great. They put on a great stage show. I think the song, I'm going to get probably a lot of hate from this, but I think their songs are all right. I don't think they're the best songs, but they put on a great show. And to be honest, they put on a 2-hour show, which not a lot of bands do, especially when you've got quite a lot of songs that are like really short, because that was a 27 song set list and they were on stage for 2 hours. So in a 2-hour show, you're lucky if you get like 20 to 22 songs. So yeah. But I would give the show 7 out of 10. It was a bit average. Obviously, it had a lot to top, obviously, with Limp Bizkit and Yumi at 6. But overall, it was a good show. I liked it. I enjoyed the support. I enjoyed the company I was with. Hopefully I'll see them guys elsewhere. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, man. But anyway, on about... actually, let's check. Did they play a different tune to the other one? So, Fan introed The Judge at Glasgow. So this is the first show they did at... Yeah, they did the same thing with a Fan to do Ride. A young Fan as well. Must have been a... Oh no, they literally did the same thing. They did the same thing. They did the same... Oh, hang on. Doubt. Is this... So this is the Glasgow show. They didn't do Doubt. So there was only 26 songs at Glasgow. So we got an extra tune. Between My Blood and Guns for Hands, we had Doubt, the demo version. Nice. Hopefully they'll do the same for elsewhere. So if you want a breakdown of how many songs they played, so they obviously... Clancy was being the top one. So 10 songs from Clancy, 5 from Blurry Face, 4 from Vessel, 3 from Trench, 2 from Scaled and Icy. But they don't play their first album, do they, either? I don't remember the last time they played their first album. But anyway, then the line's obviously a single, isn't it, from League of Legends, and obviously Heathens is another one. So yeah. So 27 songs set list. 26 songs. Let's see if they've actually done the same. Let's have a look at... Because before Glasgow was Paris. Let's see if they played any more tunes. They played a 27 song set list for Paris. And they didn't. They've played the same songs. So they might be playing the same songs everywhere. Yeah. They've literally played the same songs, so it must be the same song set list everywhere. The Yumi at 6 one, I'm gonna put this one up first, and then for Yumi at 6, I'm gonna see if it's any good. Might have to re-record it, just depends, because I think I'm doing like a lot of, especially come to the end of the episode, I'm doing like a lot of coughing and whatnot. So anyhow, how we're ending this one? You got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Yeah. Actually, no. When you go to gigs, make sure you're looking after each other, taking into consideration of everyone else around you. Don't push in. If you want to get in early, get to the arena early. It's annoying when, I think I said this in the Yumi at 6 one, for the Birmingham show, if I remember, there was someone who had got the VIP, like the meet and greet, to meet the band before the show, and I think she got on her own, but her 3 mates who didn't get the VIP decided to push in and just stay there for the rest of the gig, which annoyed me because they were, right next to me, so obviously it was a bit of it was a bit squishy, and so I was just like, okay, granted, if your mate got in early, but it doesn't mean, if you wanted to get in early and be with her, you know what I mean? At least come into the arena. At least come into the arena with her. No, at least come to the place with her and then queue up. You know what I mean? Be the first ones in the queue. You know what I mean? Okay, granted, you probably won't get in. Obviously, they must have went the bar because it was probably about 20 minutes before they decided to push in. So obviously, they must have just got in because they weren't in the queue when I saw them. So they must have just got in like with everyone else, but later. So yeah, be considerate. Don't push in. Don't start a fight. Seriously, just because it's unfortunately nowadays, people don't think about the consequences no more. We're too soft in this country now when it comes to crime, amongst other things. But yeah, you can get away with murder half the time. So yeah, it's just stupid. So just yeah, get in early. I was dead annoyed that I wasn't the first, to get a number. But obviously, I'm not going to push in just to get closer to the stage. I'm just not going to do it. Even if I didn't mingle with people, you know what I mean? I get in and I'm where I am. I was happy with actually my location in the end because we were in that circle thing for the pit. I was actually in my view, there was no one ahead of me that was tall, so my view was cracking. And initially I was like, oh, we're going to be by the mixer by the looks of things, or but we weren't. We were probably halfway between the barrier and the what you call it, the mixer. So I'm fine. But anyway, that's how I'm gonna end it. Yeah, when someone falls down, what do? You pick them up, yeah. And yeah, if you see someone that's about to faint, beware of your surroundings, because I definitely was today in the show. And when I grabbed that woman, when I grabbed her, I knew she was gonna fall, and her mate didn't bother. Her mate was just oblivious, drunk out of his mind, which I'm very surprised he was able to, after like 9-10 pints, with a couple of shots down him, I'm surprised he was like able to walk. So yeah, just be mindful. I know I wasn't fussed about looking back at the stage. I just wanted to make sure she was safe and okay. And I hope she got home safe, and everyone else that I met at the gig had a fun time, and it was great. And anyway, that's definitely been more than 2 minutes, eh? It's definitely been more than 2 minutes. They have been 21 Pilots, and so have I.